Jimin and Jungkook just landed in the US. Why is Jimmy Fallon so desperate to meet them? Without warning, two of the most influential names in the global music industry arrived in New York in complete silence. And Jimmy Fallon, the American late-night television icon, seemed as if he had been preparing for this moment for months.
But why?
What makes Fallon so ambitious, even desperate, to meet Jimin and Jungkook behind the scenes, in the middle of the night, without a single official announcement? At 12:43 a.m. local time, June 11th, 2025, two silhouettes appeared at Terminal 7 of JFK International Airport, surrounded only by the shadows of black SUVs and dark-faced security teams. No fans were allowed inside the VIP perimeter, no journalists, no camera lights. Yet a blurry security camera recording leaked into a private fan forum. Two men in hoodies and masks stepped off a private jet, greeted by someone clearly wearing a lanyard from The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. The entire BTS fandom, ARMY, fell into silence before exploding into theories. Why was Fallon involved in their arrival? What was the urgency? Why would someone from the American talk show world be willing to sidestep broadcast procedures for two guests who hadn't even announced anything? Jimin and Jungkook are not just members of BTS. They are the face of a new era in the global entertainment industry, icons who transcend borders and languages. The two had just completed their military service, which had been a long pause from publicity and the stage. Their return alone is enough to stir the industry. But this time feels different. A quiet arrival, no managers, no reporters, no press release. Instead, it's Jimmy Fallon who quietly prepared everything. Fallon is no stranger to BTS. He has long shown strong personal and professional support for the group, from the BTS Week episodes during the pandemic to exclusive interviews and iconic segments in Central Park. But that closeness had never reached this level. Being present at the VIP terminal gate to personally welcome two of its members. According to several internal sources, Fallon's studio is undergoing intensive preparations, not for a regular broadcast, but for a sudden production with unprecedented levels of security and secrecy. Some NBC employees have confirmed that technical crews were asked to work overtime in Studio 6B, where Fallon normally films live. Even envelopes labeled confidential were seen being carried in by production staff. This strengthens speculation that a special segment is being planned. The question, why all the secrecy? Why has Fallon, of all media figures, chosen this silent route? One emerging explanation is the emotional aspect of the entire sequence. Jungkook was recently in the spotlight due to a security incident a few weeks ago and was even reported to be under intense psychological stress while at the South Korean airport. Signs of that tension resurfaced at JFK, his head bowed, hoodie drawn tight, and not once did he lift his face to the camera. However, next to him, Jimin looked different. His face showed exhaustion, but his eyes were alert, and his hand briefly touched Jungkook's shoulder, a brief contact that, for fans, felt deeper than words. Internal sources stated that Jimin was initially not scheduled to join the flight. He had completed his military duties earlier and was supposed to still be in Seoul, but emergency leave was filed just hours before Jungkook's departure. Something changed. A sudden decision that wasn't shared with the public. Many believe this isn't just an industry plan, this is a personal act. Most likely, Jimin chose to accompany Jungkook personally in one of the most emotionally vulnerable moments of his life. Why Jimmy Fallon? Because for years, Fallon has been the only Western media figure to present BTS as human beings, not just as commercial products. Fallon knows them, not just as broadcast guests, but as individuals. In one interview earlier this year, when asked if BTS would return to his show, Fallon said, "You never know when they'll show up. Sometimes even I don't know until they suddenly knock on the studio door." A line that then sounded like a joke now reads like a prophecy. An official announcement has been made to this day. But small hints are spreading like wildfire. A blurry photo posted by Fallon on his social media showed 2 cups of coffee and a single microphone, with one cup bearing the BTS logo. Fallon's comment? Just an eye emoji. That was enough to flood the internet with speculation. There are unverified reports that Fallon coordinated a secret rehearsal in a closed studio, complete with high-level security and non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, signed by all crew members. Some also claimed the security around Jungkook's vehicle involved 3 unmarked government escort cars. One NBC staff member was even caught on camera carrying a large envelope labeled "Confidential Rehearsal, Do Not Copy." But if this really is a performance, why so quiet? Because maybe for Jimin and Jungkook, this isn't just a show. It's an emotional declaration. The two have gone through military service, mental pressure, and the relentless expectations of a global audience. The world is waiting for their comeback, but perhaps they themselves aren't sure if they're ready. Jimin was seen glancing at Jungkook several times as they walked to the car. Some fans even recorded his lips moving, suspected to say, "I won't let you do this alone." That sentence, if truly spoken, could explain everything. This is not about a stage. It's about presence, about support that even millions of fans cannot replace. And Fallon seems to understand that. No press conference, no big sponsors, no network promotion, just silence, and 2 empty seats that may now have been filled by 2 voices ready to return, not because of industry demands, but because they chose to TO the public. This may be the start of BTS's comeback. But to Jimin and Jungkook, this may be the most human stage they've ever set foot on. Not because of lighting or cameras, but because they return not as global superstars, but as 2 friends who endured together. What Fallon knows and what he's planning is still unconfirmed. But if Fallon is indeed preparing for this surprise performance, one thing is certain. This won't just be an iconic moment in American entertainment history, but also a new chapter in BTS's narrative, a comeback that isn't announced, but feels louder than any scream. A whisper of 2 souls returning from silence as the entire world holds its breath, waiting for one thing. What will they say when the studio lights turn on? Yet behind all the excitement and speculation echoing around the world, there is one crucial question every reader, viewer, and fan must ask. Are we truly witnessing a monumental event behind the entertainment industry's curtains? Or is this a carefully constructed narrative designed to manipulate public perception, though blurry recordings, untagged photos, and visual clues from social media like TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter have formed the foundation of the spreading speculation? We must ask, how valid is this content? Did Jimin and Jungkook really appear in New York on June 11th, 2025 on a secret mission linked to Jimmy Fallon? Or are we part of a meticulously designed illusion aimed at reigniting long-awaited global buzz? Various online forums are filled with blurry screenshots, freely interpreted body gestures, and complex theories tying together old interview clips and vague posts on Fallon's Instagram. But have we examined the origin of every piece of evidence? Who first leaked the alleged illegally obtained CCTV footage from JFK? Who can confirm that the envelope carried by the NBC staff truly contained documents related to BTS and not just regular production files? Indeed, their arrival's atmosphere felt unusual. No official publicity, no media greeting, not even promotional hints from Fallon's side. But an equally important question remains. Why did it happen in such silence? Is this a deliberate strategic move? Or is it a sign that the entire narrative is actually just a domino effect of unchecked news? We must also examine why so much focus is placed on facial expressions, body language, and silent interactions between Jimin and Jungkook. Is it because fans are denied access to official explanations, making the room for interpretation dangerously wide? Does the lack of information drive the need to fill the void with theories and assumptions? This is the reflective point we must enter. In a digital era where information spreads faster than clarification, can we still distinguish between reality and narrative construction? When someone sees a silhouette in a blurry video, is that enough to conclude a monumental event is happening? When Fallon posts 2 coffee cups without context, why is it instantly seen as a secret signal? Skepticism does not mean disbelief, but rather an intellectual responsibility not to be swept away by untested waves of information. We must ask, do we believe because there is evidence or because we want to believe? This isn't just about BTS, Jimin, Jungkook, or Jimmy Fallon. This is about how we, all of us in the digital society, consume and share information. Also consider the other side of this narrative. If this entire event is fabricated, who benefits? Is this a move by Fallon's production team to reclaim public attention in a talk show landscape now competing with TikTok and YouTube Shorts algorithms? Or is this an initiative from the Korean entertainment industry to revive BTS's global influence after their military hiatus? And what about the fans? Has ARMY's enthusiasm, which has formed a global cultural and political force, become a tool for the media industry to create the illusion of relevance?